Welcome back to TOC Tuesdays. This is
Jenna, the muscle mommy,
and Vanessa, and we are excited to bring another Trail of Champions episode where you are dropping some bombs.
Big news.
Big news. And then we're also going to be talking about our why and just getting to know a little bit more about us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming, as always. Just some cleaning notes. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe while you are here. We are always open to feedback. This is very new, so we're always ready to improve.
Yeah, and the support is very much appreciated. Even if it's just one of you, thank you for being here.
Yeah. So let's talk other sports you've played, or did you play any sports before bodybuilding?
No.
At all?
No.
Wow.
Consistently, no. I dabbled. So growing up, my dad, who raised me, would say, like, you got to try it for like one season. So I did swim, karate, and dance, but like nothing extended. That was it.
Just for like a month and you're done?
I think karate, the goal is to break a board. I did that. I quit. Swim, I don't even know how long I did that for. I can't even remember. And dance was like, did one routine, learned one song, and then I was out. Like, I'd never stuck with anything.
Why do you think you were able to stick with bodybuilding?
The challenges, I guess. It's hard and it's rewarding. I did start working out when I was 14. I was not consistent with it. And then after I had my first kid in 2014, my daughter, I didn't want to get complacent. So I started at home with P90X.
Love it.
So funny because I met Shanti.
I shot for Shanti.
Yeah. And when I'm looking at him, I'm like, why does he look so familiar to me? And I was with Ashley, and she's like, that was Shanti. And I was like, oh my God. He was the reason why I started to get back into fitness, ironically. But I don't know. I think just bodybuilding I just love it. I just fell in love with it. You know, it's mostly because it's not easy. But I think I don't think any sport is necessarily easy. Just choosing your heart and what you're able to persevere through. Yeah. What about you? What sports did you play?
I did softball when I was a kid. Then that was like very minimal. And then I did cheer for a little bit as a kid. And then didn't do anything because I moved over 30 times before high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like states or?
No, just like between cities. And then we did move to California. So went to elementary school in Houston, Texas. Then 6th grade we moved over to California again. And then stayed in California until 2020. But high school was the first time I've ever stayed at a school for longer than a year.
Wow.
And so started off doing cheer there, did a full year, and then went into swim and water polo.
Water polo?
I love water polo.
That's interesting.
I even did winter league, so I would go. I remember jumping into the pool because, you know, like in the winter you have to have heated pools.
Wait, is this in California?
Yeah.
Like what part?
Sacramento.
They need heated pools in Sacramento?
For the winter.
Is it cold there?
Yes.
I thought like year round it's like beautiful 70.
No.
Maybe I'm just...
No, yeah. And that's just...
geography's not my thing.
No, I mean, it was like 30, 40 degrees.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't like negatives, but it was...
So it's Northern California then?
Yeah, Northern California. Because like it would take us like 2 hours to drive to like Reno or like Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
Like it's very close to over there. So snow was very easily accessible, but it wasn't necessarily like right there.
So water polo is a big sport? Okay.
I've always liked niche sports.
Yeah, so I grew up on the East Coast in Western North Carolina. Didn't even know what water polo was.
Really?
Yeah. To like the Olympics or something. I was like, what is this? It's like shuffling.
I love shuffling. So did that. I remember they would take me to like the weight room because you'd have to go to the weight room. I fucking hated it, but it wasn't my fault because we were doing bench and I couldn't do a bar. I mean, we're in high school, right? And I guess he was my boyfriend at the time. He was like spotting me, but didn't spot me, and the fucking thing went straight on my face.
Oh,
so
no.
I just didn't like.
That wasn't a good experience.
Yeah, so I
sure.
didn't like it. But then eventually found bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Because broke up with an ex, and the new guy that I was seeing really liked Dana Lynn Bailey. Fell in love with Dana Lynn Bailey. That was like whenever she had her like YouTube all the time, and so fangirled over her. I was like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do physique, and so
That's awesome.
yeah,
Very cool.
yeah,
It's not funny. Like, neither of us really, like, interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, it didn't happen for me until later in life.
How old were you?
My first show was 2015. This was 27. And I started off in the NFF,
Oh,
the Natural Fit Federation. And my first show, my dad coached me over the phone.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, that's not that weird. No, but
No. But then it was, you know. And I took first place and the overall. And then I did another show like 3 years later after my son was born. And I took second place and I coached myself.
you have 2 kids?
I do. Yep.
How old are they?
My daughter will be 11 in January and my son is 8. Yeah.
Love that. Do you feel like it's easier or harder?
Oh.
I guess it's all you've known since bodybuilding, right? Like you've never had non-kids.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, it would be easier. Without a
Yeah.
doubt. In regards to, like, time, scheduling, that sort of thing, but I wouldn't want that for me. Because when you bite off more than you can chew, you get stronger. So I like challenge. You know, I don't, for me, I don't want necessarily easy because I don't feel like that's challenging for me. So it's learning how to, like, juggle it all at the same time while getting better is, it's not easy. But I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like easy. I want to
You
be,
get complacent.
yeah, I want to be an entrepreneur if I did. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
I love that. What is something that you wish you knew about, like, before you started competing? Like, if I guess it would be advice to newbies, stuff that they should consider.
Something I wish I knew before competing.
It could be multiple things.
A piece of advice that I wish I knew because I had such bad stage fright would be nobody knows how you feel. So, like, the night before my first show, I, like, did not sleep because my thoughts and my heart were racing. Like, I couldn't stop. I didn't know how to, like, decompress and relax. And now with my experience, I'm able to help my clients and the newbies. Like, nobody knows how you're feeling.
Yeah.
And little tidbits and tricks that I share with them along the way. And I also wish I knew, I don't wish I knew how difficult it would be because it probably would have dissuaded me. Like, regarding the food.
Yeah.
And feeling like I still struggle with, like, hunger. Like, I get really, really hungry. And that hangry isn't necessarily you. Like, it's just a moment. And this is a good one. Acknowledge what is happening isn't forever. So, like, whenever, as a novice, like, I'd get hangry, and I'd snap at the people around me. And now I recognize, like, no, this is just me being hungry. I need to be chill.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not their fault.
Yeah. It's also a choice it's an active choice that you are making.
Yes.
Don't punish them for the decision that you are making.
Yeah, you're choosing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I knew that. What about you? What do you wish you knew?
I agree with your
hard one,
sentiments.
right?
Yeah, it is. But it's also not, I think people underestimate how expensive it is. And they also underestimate they do underestimate the struggles. And then there are people that I know that will kind of do like the whole woe is me type of thing of like this is hard. This would be so much easier if I didn't have a job, like another job. Or, this would be so much easier if insert reason here. Is that, okay, but there are top Olympians that still have like juggling 2 jobs, like their full-time job, a posing job, or a personal training job, and then also the bodybuilding career. It's not ever necessarily going to be easier because it always sucks in some capacity at a point, like, and I wish more people understood, like, people will hear it but they don't understand it, of when you're stage lean, it hurts in different ways. Maybe it's your stomach hurting, like from being hungry,
your joints,
your
mental fog,
your muscles.
Yes.
And yeah, I could understand why you wouldn't necessarily want to tell people, but I also think that they should know, and then also know that they're not alone. And I feel like that is one of the more powerful things, is that when you realize that you are not the only one hurting and there's other people around you that are hurting, then you can kind of like lean on each other a little bit more and kind of like trauma bond.
Yeah. You know, Marissa, we were at the meet and greet together. And she was a couple seats beside me, and she started to talk and said that she had 2 exams. She had an exam, like, now I could have the time frame off, but
No, that morning.
The morning of the Olympia, and
Yeah.
then she had one the day before or something, and I was like, what? Dental. She's going to dental school, and I was like, and that's the type of people you want to surround yourself with. The ones that are doing great things and great things.
Yeah.
Like, she's biting off more than she can chew.
Literally. As a dentist.
Right? And so you would have, like, but I'm sure it took her time, like, to develop into that person where she's like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that. And she was totally, like, laughing about it. She was like, you won't believe this.
Yeah.
And I was going, what? Like, crazy, you know? But people tell me that too, like, man, you know, I was gonna not do my cardio, but then I thought about you and how you have 2 kids and you do all of this. And they're like, and it stepped me up. Like, I got on my cardio. So it's just to mold yourself around those people.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Which is kind of like something that we were talking about in the last episode, of surrounding yourself with higher caliber people that force you to be better.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not even like if I hang out with you, you expect higher from me, right? But I just want to do better because I surround myself with you. You know?
It's kind of like keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah, but in a different way.
But not in a materialistic way.
Yeah.
It's like
An emotional way.
Yeah.
Psychological way. And a business way.
You're getting better, I want to get better. But it's not a competition. It's like, let's
be better together so then we can just help each other in the future.
and then pour into those.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I love that. I'm so grateful for you.
Me too. That brings us right into
Yeah. Why we love helping people.
helping people.
You can go first.
It's so fulfilling.
It is.
It is so fulfilling. My favorite thing, I love posing. I love it. I love the amateurs. I like the more seasoned clients too. But the amateurs, that just to see them, like, I can say that I specialize in teaching a woman confidence, and especially in their walk. And so I'll have them like walk back and forth. And it was funny because one of my most recent clients, her boyfriend was sitting there, and she walked towards me, and I was like, okay, go back. And she walked towards me, and he goes, she's just kind of stiff. And I said, watch this. Like, walk. I have her go walk back and forth, and I get her comfortable and just walking. And then in a matter of 2 minutes, she started to strut and do her thing. And I was like, you see? And he was like, oh, okay. You know? And then when she turned, like, to the mirror and saw herself walk, she, like, lit up. And it was like, yes. You know what I mean? Like, I want every woman to feel that. Mm-hmm. You know, when you see that woman walking down the street and she's in her heels and she's just, the wind's blowing and she's just walking all classy and she looks great. Like, you can do that too.
Yeah.
You know?
It's you literally get to help people step into their own power and their own femininity, and which is so funny because obviously bodybuilding is a very masculine sport.
Yes.
Through and through. But there is this beautiful thing, even on the physique and the bodybuilding side, the women's physique and bodybuilding side, is that there is still something so elegant about it, mm-hmm. and so much flow into it, and those that step into that do better.
Yes. You can, you know, my posing coach Sheila told me, you got to find your own lane. Mm-hmm. You know, and while we can draw inspiration from other people, I never want to pose like everybody else. Mm-mm. I want to pose like me.
Yeah.
And so for a while when she was telling me that, I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean? And then through practice and practice and practice and practice on my own, it was like, oh, I would just want to find my own little path, carve my own path. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just to give back, to see people, you know, especially I tell like my personal training clients, like, I can tell you what to lift, I can tell you what to eat, but at the end of the day, you're the one doing it. Mm-hmm. So when you see that progress, while I might have lent advice and guidance, you did that. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, yes, like it's empowering.
Yeah.
You did that.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite part.
So I help people in very different ways. And so I have my digital media agency and I record people, right? But one of my favorite things, I record people and I help them with their business strategy, their marketing strategy and everything like that. So my favorite thing is to really like redefine their why and figure out like what is actually, what are they and what kind of message do they want to relay to the masses, and making sure that that is authentic, right? So like, I have clients that will be like, okay, well, like, how much should I charge for like a post? And I'm like, okay, well, I know you have sponsors and they ask you a certain thing. So let's break that down. Don't charge anything less than what your sponsors are giving you, because you have value. Mm-hmm. Your sponsors see that value. And if you go for anything less, you're undervaluing yourself. And you clearly already deserve it. You're already getting it. So like, just helping them see what they're worth in a very monetary way, but like also like just in the world, right? Like, because a lot of people can do business on their own, but sometimes it just helps them whenever they have somebody to kind of hold their hand of like, no, you can do it. Like, you can do it. I believe in you. And like that, like seeing the shift and like seeing the power that they get within there, like that is so much cool. It is very similar to like the way that you see them walking and then like finally like it clicks and they say, okay, like I am that bitch, like, you know, like, yeah. And that's the same thing with the business, and then seeing them thrive, because if they succeed, I succeed, right? And then they continue working with me,
right? And then if they succeed, they're word of mouth, you know, and if you lend a good experience, they're gonna, you know, and your business is gonna grow. And your whole thing was you want to help them.
Yeah, help first, and then everything else will follow
into place.
Yeah, but it's never. And I always want to make sure that this is. I talk about this is that I love my clients so much. You know, I love people so much, and I get used a lot, which is. It's my choice, but I give to give, and I don't necessarily expect to receive. I will, like, if I know that there's a certain person that isn't necessary, that is going to take more emotional capacity from me, then I will charge accordingly and make sure that it is a very business transaction. Versus if it is somebody that I know like is going to be like, I just know that we're going to work better together. We will, again, we set these things, and then I will tend to give more of my personality too. Like there, you can't give yourself fully to every single person, otherwise there's gonna be none of you left.
Yes. When I don't want to help the people that aren't helping themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I only want to help those that are helping themselves. You know, and like if you have a handout and you want everything for free and handed to you? No.
Yeah.
You know, like I tell my sponsors, like I never expect anything for free.
Yeah.
You know, like I get help, you know, from Todd with Apex. He does my body work, and it's like, hey, I never expect anything for free. In return, I push people to him because not only do I believe in him, and he's really good at what he does, you know, but he also deserves to be rewarded. You know what I mean? The same way that he's taking time, I'm going to at least do anything, whatever I can, and push business his way. You know what I mean? But it's that mutual
understanding.
Yeah. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be always about the money. While money makes things easier, you know, I always tell people I do what I can when, you know, but I get that. It's like, you got to be careful who you pour into, because sometimes they're just vacuums.
Yeah.
They don't pour back. They just suck the life out of you, you know?
And again, it's so hard for like us, where we do want to genuinely help everybody.
Well, we're both kind of naive.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're both sweet little, like, naive people, so it's hard to have that discernment. But I think with more experience, I think we're both kind of gaining that. But it takes time.
Yeah.
And it takes you get burned.
Yeah.
But if you go out with good intentions and you don't become like them.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. It's like, I've been burned, and it's like, oh, that's okay. You chose.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to become like you.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's like also the thing is that when we move forward or past that, it's not like we're going to hold it against them.
No.
Like, still all the love. I have so much love to give.
Yeah.
It's just I give other people more than others.
Yeah.
Because they also give it back to me.
Exactly.
And it's you pour my cup, I pour your cup. It's just like a back and forth. It's very mutual.
You place people where they belong.
Yeah. But that's why I like it. I don't know. I think people are cool. There's a lot of bad people, but there's a lot of good people too. And I think that that's something that you need to always, like, remember and be okay with.
Well, I recognize the bad, and it's like, you know, going back to one of the previous episodes, like, that's what I don't want to be like. Like, that's totally fine that that's who you want to be. That's cool. You could be cool over there.
Yeah.
Do your thing. But you're not allowed over here anymore.
Yeah.
Because I got to protect my sweetness.
Exactly. So why do you think that it was time for us to actually do this pod?
Oh my gosh. Isn't it weird how it happened too?
Yeah.
Did you tell me about this?
I've talked about, like, wanting to do a podcast for a while. And I remember, like, early on, whenever Trailer Champions started, I was just like, oh, TOC Tuesdays. It would make sense because it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
And then that was, like, whenever I was more partnered with one of the originators.
Yeah.
And then nothing happened to it. I was like, okay, fine. And I'm the type of person that will push things off for myself. So if it was just me on my own, it would have probably taken me like another year to get this started. But whenever you sent me that text message, I was like, yes, okay.
So weird. I don't know. And I was trying to think, like, I tell people I have, like, memory of Dory, like ADHD too. But
see,
I don't recall you ever mentioning to me, like, this being a formidable, like task that you were trying to achieve, like something on your to-do list.
Yeah.
But last Friday, you know, what was it, October 25th, whatever day it was. And I texted you, like, hey, have you ever thought about doing a podcast? And it was like, you sent me this video, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, what?
Yeah.
And, like, let's do it the following Thursday. Like, okay, you know? And I was a little lost at first with the direction, through, you know, but, like, with our Zoom call, when we talked about everything, it was just like, I just felt like it fit.
Yeah.
It was like a puzzle piece.
Yeah.
So I think it's time, because you need to have enough experience and also that confidence in who you are.
Yeah.
In order to lend it to others, you know?
Agreed.
Yeah. So it just feels like the right time.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't know.
The stars aligned.
Yes, I think aligned. Well, there was, like, so many things up until now, right? So, like, obviously we started the documentary, which I think is where we got caught off on the last episode. But we started this documentary, and you were obviously working on getting to Olympia. I was just starting with Battle Up Media. I was just getting on with a couple of new clients. And then we started doing Friday flows, where we were still always like working on Trail of Champions, but very loosely. Like we had a Texas Pro event, which that one was just like an upgraded Friday flow too. So Trail of Champions was always on my mind. It just wasn't necessarily like, okay, well, what are we doing? And I know we wanted to do our first like workshop with you involved this next week, but then again, it was just, there were so many things that were happening. I was like, okay, well, let's just push the workshop off for a couple of months and then make sure it's a quality and like amazing event, because I never want people to show up
like hodgepodge.
I have such high expectations for myself, because I have always run very high successful events in the past, and I never want anything lesser for Trail of Champions.
Right, you can't go down.
Yeah,
you gotta go up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we built the studio within this like period of time too, and I was just so grateful that like, because whenever somebody else gets excited and it's something that I'm excited about, I'm like, oh, okay. And I have so many ideas, and then I have so much information just to kind of like make it easier, but that can like deter some people. Like it can overwhelm some people, but you just kind of took it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you're excited.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it was like, you know, even after that Zoom, you know, thinking about it, and I was like, I think it's just naturally going to evolve. And then you ended up saying that, like, as we move along, it's going to evolve and just find our own path. And then my good friend Michael, he's like, yeah, like you guys start out, he was like, every podcast starts out this way, where you're kind of just finding your groove, and then you guys will just like groove together, you know what I mean? And I just feel like it's great.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing too is that we are definitely empaths, and we empathize with each other, and we have very similar values and morals and views on the way people should treat each other, the way that people should talk about each other, the way that, you know, like in the future, whenever we do decide to do like show recaps, it's never going to tear anybody down by any means. Like, that is not our goal. That is not the type of person that we are either. And I never want to force an inauthentic type of version of ourselves. It's always going to be very much us.
And it kind of goes into like the imposter syndrome. Like, even show reviews kind of make me a little bit like, because I'm not a judge.
Yeah.
Right?
Who am I to say this?
Yeah.
But we can also, like, we could talk about their suit colors.
Yeah.
We could talk about, like, what did we really like about this flow?
Exactly.
And it could also be the men, too. Like, we're not direct competitors of the men.
Right.
You know? Like, but there's also very precise things that we could like about, you know, certain movements.
Right.
Certain shots.
Yes.
Or, ooh, that tan could have been a little bit better. And, like, this is what you could have done. Ooh, he got a little bit of green on his underarms. Like, he probably used deodorant.
Yep.
You know? Like, all of these things that, like, will help
like,
you guys.
Yeah, looks like he spilled over. Like, it took me a long time to understand what the difference between being soft and unconditioned was. Like, that took me a while to figure out.
Yeah.
So, like, things like that we hope to lend our advice, but by no means is it like
mean. Yeah.
You know, like, this is the truth.
Yeah.
This
But this is our experience. Yeah.
Perspective.
Yeah, exactly. And then also, like, we just want to kind of re-emphasize the fact that it's not, even though we are bodybuilding heavy, we want to bring everybody. So we want to bring on, like,
the guests that we're going to have. We're going to eventually have guests on. So, I don't know if we want to name any names, but...
Well, we'll talk to your new coach if you want to bring that information up. I know you've been dying about that. So...
I have parted ways with my coaches, not with any kind of negative or any of that. I just want to try something new. It's been almost 3 years, and they have brought me so far. Like, I'm so grateful for them. Like, really, they have really helped me out tremendously, not just with bodybuilding. They've been really incredibly supportive as a single mom. You know, Roland allowed me to start training at the gym, and when I, you know, initially asked him, he, without hesitation, yes, absolutely. Like, just a really incredible human being, really. But that being said, and Seneca as well, family man, he's also helped me out tremendously. He's paid for my hair and makeup a couple of times for shows, and he came out and supported me in Arizona last year. And just that over the course of years has been tremendous. But leading into, I decided that I wanted to try something new, which is really hard for me because I'm such a loyal person.
But I'm so excited.
But I am too. So it kind of lit a fire under my butt too. So I called Chris. And Chris, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Grunlin?
Yeah.
With Team Ludacris. So that is the team I'm on now. I'm pretty excited because for a couple of reasons, I've never had a team. Mm-hmm. I've never been on a sport, on a sports team. So now I feel like I'm part of a team, which is new for me. But I interviewed with Chris and we chatted, and just everything that we touched on, it was like, this is the right fit. And within a couple of days, like, he sent me my plan, my workouts, and just something new, which is really hard for me, like the tracking the workouts. I've never been a tracker. Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest. I always saw people tracking the workouts and I'm like, that dork.
Yeah.
Like, why you have to track every workout, Yeah. And now I'm doing the same thing. So be careful what you laugh at, because you can become what you make fun of.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you that is so true.
Yeah.
But now I'm here tracking things, and the plan, there's only so many health foods out there, in order to get results. So just a little bit different macros and training, everything. But I'm super excited to be working with Chris and to be surrounded by so many women that are already achieving great things. Marissa, Cass, Sunny just joined the team, I think, within the last 6 months, and then Jenny. Mm-hmm. And then he also just took on Natasha. Mm-hmm. So it's 6 Olympians that I'm aware of that he has on his team now. 6 wellness Olympians, not including a lot of other greats.
Yeah.
Those are just a few that I know of.
Yeah. And he's great.
He's a family man.
He is so sweet and like open. I met him for the first time at North Americans, and I went up to him and like introduced myself to him. Again, Marissa Andrews is a trail leader, so I've always known of him. And then I finally saw him, and so I went out of my way to introduce myself to him, because I also had a feeling that I wanted him to be a part of the Texas Pro Sheila and Freddie banter podcast. So I invited him. I was like, hey, would you be open to this? If so, I will, I'm trying to get it worked out, so let me know. And he's like, yes, I'll be there. I was like, okay, great. And he's always just been so, I'll be there, I'll do it, I'm happy to help, I'm whatever. And I just gravitated so much to that, because I feel like even though he has such high level and high achieving athletes, he is also the first person to give back to the bodybuilding community too, which is just so important to me as a human, but also as a coach. So did that. And then obviously at the Olympia, I was able to kind of spend more time with him because of Cass, and he was everything that I was hoping for. And I love the way that he interacted with his clients and his athletes. And I'm just so excited because when you texted me, I was like, I sent you 20 messages back to back, and I was like, okay, I'm sorry, I'll compose myself. But I truly do feel like he's going to be the Hani of the wellness competitors. So I think it's really
and so
cool.
There's coaches that have their niche, you know what I mean? And I think that I agree with you. He's found his niche with the wellness. I think he does bikini as well. But to say he's got now 6 Olympians, you know, that says something about his experience and expertise. That doesn't take away from any other coach. But I'm excited to try something new. And he did approach me at Texas Pro last year, and I didn't tell him this, so he'll probably see this and be like, oh, I don't remember that. But Marissa won that show. I took third, and he approached me and he was like, I want to congratulate you and your coach. You guys have done a phenomenal job. Keep pushing. Like, you're right there. And I thought that was so admirable, because a lot of times it can be competitive and people can get kind of ugly. And I've seen that a little bit. And just to see like him have that fourth, like, I don't know, he was just welcoming, and I felt
genuine.
Yeah.
He was just genuine. And it
Yeah.
wasn't him reaching out to you, or not reaching out, approaching you wasn't like, oh, let me be a coach. It was never like that. It was just
not a second. I did not for a second think, oh, you're trying to recruit me. He was just like, I want to congratulate you. Like, keep going.
Yeah. And we need more people like that in this world in general, right? So,
yes. You know, like, like when I see people women that
are winning or doing good things or cool things.
Like, I talked to Issa, and she was just, I was like, congratulations, how do you feel? And she was like, on top of the world. And I was like, you deserve it.
Yeah.
You've worked so hard. And she's like, yeah, I lost. And then I win, you know, and she's her Brazilian, you know, her Portuguese, a little bit broken English, but she was so encouraging. She's like, don't give up. Don't give up. And she was very humble. She, you know what I mean? Like, there's some people that went in there like, oh,
yeah,
you're below me, you know, and she was not like that.
Yeah.
She wasn't like that at all. She was very endearing.
I love it. So, he will be our first guest.
Chris will be our first guest.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Yes,
Yeah.
me too. And then Britt, you will likely see her like on my Instagram. She's been in a couple of Instagrams with you too. She'll be around. I don't know when or whatever, but she's gonna kind of just like float in. She's another trail leader. But we literally have like a laundry list of people. We're starting this podcast as like a weekly launch, but if you guys like us, if you guys want us around more, we'll do more.
Hey, send your like requests. Like, hey, can you get this person on, or whoever, and we'll do our very best to invite the people you want to see.
And they could be like CrossFitters. They could be like yoga instructors. They could be whoever, you know.
Yeah, like, if, you know, I hope to have a couple of people on, physical therapists, wellness. We talked about that.
Makeup artists.
Makeup, hormone, tanning, like whatever regards. And like, you know, when we talk about hormones, that goes into the entire public. Everybody needs education on hormones. Not
just bodybuilders, but literally everybody.
For your lifestyle health, like to feel like a healthy human.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, on that, let's close out this episode. We so appreciate you guys. Don't forget to drop us any comments, concerns, or guest requests.
Yes.
The next episode, we're going to be, it's going to be our Thanksgiving special. So, we're going to talk about, you know, Thanksgiving, anxiety around the holidays, reverse dieting.
Overeating, how to avoid. Yep.
And then follow us on Instagram
at the Muscle Mommy,
That Girl Squats, and trail.of.champions, because we'll be posting upcoming events soon.
Yes. Don't forget to like and subscribe for us.
And until next time, we'll see you next time.
Bye.